Welcome to Fix It Home Improvement, covering projects that every homeowner should know and great products for home and garden.
Hi, I'm JC, and this is where we share weekly home improvement tips. I'm here with my co-host, Cindy.
Hello, JC.
Hi, Cindy. This week, we're going to talk about some fall maintenance routines that you should have for your home. And we'd like to thank Gerald Knight for liking and sharing our podcast. He has an ebook called Man Shark that you can get on Amazon. It's a work of historical fiction based on his years of studying the traditional navigators and storytellers in the Marshall Islands. And you can check out his website for more information on his book and some great pictures. He's at geraldknight.com. It's GeraldKnight.com. And you can get his book on Amazon. It's called Man Shark by Gerald R. Knight. And speaking about ebooks, you can check out our ebooks. They're called Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, books 1 through 12 on Amazon.
It's going to be in a different category, though.
Right. His life is actually interesting. You should check out his bio.
Okay.
He's our CPA.
I know.
But and I never knew he was, like, cool before I learned about his background. In the U.S., the fall equinox is between September 21st and September 24th.
It's not just the U.S., it's like the whole hemisphere, right?
Right, the northern hemisphere. And it varies because the solar year isn't exactly 365 days. Fall is going to start when the sun is over the equator at noon, and the length...
Equator?
Equator, how do you say it?
Equator?
Equator. And the length of day and night is almost equal.
How do people listen to us?
I get a lot of compliments on how I speak
I've read our
and my
reviews.
accent. Historians think people started calling the season fall because of leaves falling off the trees at this point in the year. There's a pyramid in Mexico called El Castillo that was built so sunlight forms the shape of a slithering snake down the stairs on the equinox. The ancient Egyptians created a temple that shows when the equinox happens, and Stonehenge in England is believed to be a group of huge stones that are aligned to track the sun. Mm-hmm. In Illinois, there's a group of wood poles known as Woodhenge, and historians think Native Americans set it up around 1000 A.D. to mark the equinoxes. And it's amazing.
Why didn't we go there this week?
Yeah. Yeah, we should have had a field trip. But it's amazing that wood poles are still there since 1000 AD. A great routine to have every fall is to walk around your home and check all of the caulking. As building materials expand and contract, caulk can open up and allow insects and water into your home. Mm-hmm. You should remove any loose caulk and reapply new caulk. And what's good about a quality caulk, if you have gaps but the caulk is still solid, you can use caulk to fill in the gaps without removing the old caulk.
So you can caulk over caulk?
You can caulk over caulk, but if you use silicone, especially most 100% silicone, it won't stick to silicone. You usually have to remove the old silicone and then clean the surface because it leaves an oily residue. Some top-rated caulk comes from Red Devil and DAP. DAP is D-A-P, and Big Stretch is rated very high for outdoor caulking.
You should look for paintable caulk if you're going to paint it, because not all caulks are paintable.
Yeah.
But they do come in different colors.
Yeah, there's a wide range of colors you can get from some manufacturers.
But if you just want it to disappear, get clear.
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes on white and then it becomes clear.
Yeah. Wow, when we had the hardware stores, we had so many people panic when they put on a clear caulk. And they would run back to the store and say, hey, what you sold me isn't clear.
Right.
So some of the clear caulks will take 24 hours before they become clear.
Read the instruction.
Check any vents or openings into your attic to make sure they have screening to prevent animals from getting into your home.
Dear, we're not going to talk about bats, are we?
Bats, absolutely. You want to make sure that bats can't get into your attic.
One of our worst episodes ever.
That was one of my favorite episodes. There's some cool stuff in the bat episode. Not very many people have downloaded the bat episode, but I thought there was some cool stuff. I talk about vampire bats
lived at JC, I know.
and cannibal bats. A small bat can get into an opening the size of a dime. And we got some tips from Ward Schrader. He says that small squirrels can get into an opening into your roof or eaves, an opening the size of a quarter. And once they're in your attic, they can be destructive.
Squirrels.
You should also make sure that you have a chimney cap with screening, and that's going to help prevent animals from dropping down into your home. Mm-hmm. You should get up into your attic at least once a year and check for holes, leaks, insects, or animals. And daytime is a good time. If it's a bright day, get into your attic, turn off the lights, and that will help you see any holes. Check the weather strip around doors and windows to help reduce utility costs and prevent insects from getting into your home. Check the weather strip around your garage door if you have an attached garage. This is an easy way for mice to get into your home, and once they're in the garage, they can move into the living space. I took some training from the company Victor. It's Victor. They make mouse traps. Mm-hmm. They said from their studies, mice don't like the smell of peppermint oil, so they recommend using 100% peppermint oil around doors and then put mouse traps at the opening of your garage door.
Probably their mouse traps.
Yes, Victor mouse traps. In fact, they have some pet and child-safe mouse traps where the mouse has to put its nose under the trigger and then lift it up to get the bait, and that sets off the trap. Mm-hmm. So it's safer for kids and pets, and it puts the mouse in the perfect position for a quick kill.
That's good.
Ward suggested using peanut butter as a bait if you're baiting mouse traps. And when I took some training from Victor, they also said peanut butter is very effective. Their safe set mouse traps use a peanut butter scented bait. Mm-hmm. And when I was investing in real estate years ago, I hired
many years ago.
Yeah, I hired exterminators because I had never dealt with mice or rats. And
rats?
Yeah, in some of our homes, some of these houses in the south side of Chicago, rats were a problem. But
among other things.
But the exterminators who trained me also said peanut butter and beef jerky are great baits. Yeah. Put down an insect border control around your home if you have a problem with insects every fall. Ortho Home Defense and Bear Advanced are highly rated. I like using a diatomaceous earth all around the foundation wall outside and inside. Mm-hmm. And diatomaceous earth is the microscopic remains of hard-shelled algae. It's completely non-toxic to people and pets, but it breaks down the thin protective wax layer on insects and it kills them. Mm-hmm. You can put a couple-inch border on the outside all around your foundation wall, and then inside put a very thin amount under the baseboards in the lowest level of your home. It's non-toxic, but wear a dust mask because it can irritate your lungs.
Okay.
Check for leaks in your gutters. Dripping gutters can cause damage to your wood fascia. There's a product called the Liquid Rubber Gutter Repair Kit, and it uses seam tape and liquid rubber to stop leaks. A couple top-rated caulks for repairing gutter leaks are Through the Roof and Lexel. It's Lexel. Mm-hmm. And these can be applied to dry or wet surfaces. Through the Roof is also good for small holes or leaks in your roof. Mm-hmm. It can be applied from 0 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit, and you can apply it even if it's raining.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Clean your gutters after leaves fall in fall.
That was a great sentence. You should wait.
In cold climates, clogged gutters can cause ice dams and drive moisture under your shingles, which can damage the wood decking, and it can also damage your ceilings and walls. Clogged gutters filled with leaves, twigs, shingle material, and dirt can pull away from the fascia too. You can use a gutter scoop, get up on an extension ladder or step ladder, and get the debris out pretty easily. I would pour it into a 5-gallon bucket.
Well, of course, because you love 5-gallon buckets.
I do, rather than just throwing them on the ground. And Works, the company Works, WORX, has a gutter cleaning tool. It's called the Works Gutter Pro. It reaches up to 11 feet, and this connects to a leaf blower. It has a 90-degree end on it.
Oh, I've seen these.
So this tube fits onto your leaf blower. You hold it up, and now you can blow the leaves out of your gutters.
Seems much easier than going on a ladder.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a couple other products you can put in your gutter to slow down the accumulation of leaves. Mm-hmm. One is called Gutter Brush. The other one is Gutter Stuff. And I like these because they block most leaves and debris, but you can easily remove them and clean your gutters.
Right.
Because over time, small particles will accumulate.
Mm-hmm.
Ward recommends mulching your leaves as they fall into your lawn rather than raking them up. You can use a mulching lawnmower, and it works the best when your leaves are dry. And keep mulching the leaves with your mower throughout fall, even when your grass doesn't need to be cut.
Mm-hmm.
The mower is going to suck up the leaves and keep shredding them into smaller pieces, and they're going to break down faster into your lawn. Leaves contain phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and other nutrients, and they have the most nutrition when they first fall off the tree. So mulching them into your lawn is going to provide up to 50% of the nutrients that your lawn needs, depending on the amount of leaves that fall into your lawn.
Right.
But you don't want to mulch large amounts of leaves, so many leaves that it smothers your grass. By mulching leaves into your soil, it's going to improve the soil structure over time. It's going to help sandy soil retain nutrients and water, and it's going to help break up clay soil, improving drainage. Shredded leaves will feed the microorganisms in the soil and worms, and the microorganisms are breaking down nutrients in the soil so it can be absorbed easier by your lawn, and abundant microorganisms are also going to help break down thatch. Another thing you can do every fall to improve the soil structure of your lawn and feed the microorganisms is add about 1/4 inch of compost. And then in fall, once every 3 to 5 years, if you aerate your lawn, it's very healthy.
Mm-hmm.
For cool season grass, fall is a good time to overseed your lawn and put down a fall fertilizer for cool season grass. It's going to toughen up the cell walls for cold temperatures. If you have warm season grass, it's going to help protect against disease if you put down a fall fertilizer. I was reading an article from Turf magazine. They say if you're in an area with cool season grass, if you only fertilize one time of the year, do it in fall, you're going to get the best results.
Mm-hmm.
For warm season grass, fertilize just before fall. You don't want to fertilize between September and January for many warm season grasses. And you can check your state's university extension for suggestions for your type of grass, especially for warm season grass. They're more susceptible to lawn diseases.
Uh-huh.
You should sharpen your lawnmower blade at least once a season if you're in an area with cool season grass, and 2 times a season if you have warm season grass. It's going to help prevent some lawn diseases. If you have a gas lawnmower, once a year you should replace the spark plug, replace the air filter, and change the oil, and that's going to add a lot of life to your mower.
Right.
Many engine manufacturers recommend adding a fuel stabilizer to your gas can every time you fill it up. It's going to help keep your gas fresh. And if you always have a fuel stabilizer in your small engine and your can, you're ready to store it for the off-season.
I know, I just wrote about this in the gas can and fuel stabilizer.
What book?
13.
Book 13 soon.
Yeah.
On Amazon. Some top-rated fuel stabilizers come from Stable, Stabil, Briggs & Stratton. It's Briggs. Stratton is Stratton. And AMSOIL, AMSOIL. The new recommendation now is to fill your tank with gas and a fuel stabilizer. Fill it 95% full, and that way it allows for expansion. But by keeping it full, it's going to keep the hoses and seals lubricated. It's going to reduce moisture, and it's going to keep the fuel fresh for the next season, where the old recommendation used to be empty the tank at the end of the season, and they found that hoses and gaskets can dry out and crack, and condensation in an empty tank can cause corrosion.
When I was younger, I could remember my grandfather, he'd turn it on and just let it run on the patio until it was out of gas.
Right.
It's so stupid that we sat outside and we watched him do. I was like, what are we doing? I guess there was no YouTube then.
Yeah. Inspect your driveway and fill any cracks, especially in cold climates. You don't want water freezing and expanding and doing more damage to your driveway. If you have an asphalt driveway, you should put a thin coat of sealer on in cold climates around every 3 years. In warm climates around every 4 years, but check the product that you're using.
The warranty on it? Because some of them say 7 years.
Right, and it's usually...
Some are 10.
Right, and it's usually about half of the warranty, which is interesting. So if you have a 10-year warranty, probably after 5 or 6 years, you should put another thin coat. Check the temperature and pressure relief valve on your water heater every year, and this is to protect you against an explosion. You're going to open the lever on the temperature and pressure relief valve, and this is either going to be on the top or the side of your water heater. Just drain a couple of cups of water and then slowly close that lever. You don't want to snap it closed. If no water comes out, you need to change the temperature and pressure relief valve immediately.
Right.
If the water keeps leaking after you've tested it, you need to change it. You never want to plug or cap a temperature and pressure relief valve. It could cause the water heater to explode. And the temperature and pressure relief valve should be changed every 5 years, even if it's testing okay. You should mark the side of your water heater with the date and then just change it
with a magic marker.
With a magic marker and just change it every 5 years. You should also drain your water heater regularly to remove a buildup of sediment in the tank, as that can shorten the life of your water heater. It's also going to increase the efficiency of gas water heaters. I would check the manual for your model and see the recommended procedure. Some manufacturers only recommend removing a couple of quarts of water 2 or 3 times a year. Some manufacturers want you to drain the whole tank once a year.
Okay.
The Consumer Product Safety Commission says there are thousands of fires every year from clothes dryers. A buildup of lint, either in the lint trap or the dryer duct, can burst into flames. So they're saying every year you should be cleaning the ductwork, also clean the lint trap under and behind your dryer. If you go to your local hardware store or a home center, you can get a 4-inch duct brush. Most of them will have a flexible rod. You take off your duct work, and then you're just going to push this rod through it, and then use a vacuum on the duct behind the dryer and also the duct going outside. If you have a long length of duct work that can't be removed, there's a dryer vent cleaning system from Lint Eater. It's Linteater. It comes with multiple flexible rods that you connect to a cordless drill, and it has a 4-inch brush on the end of it. And now you can go up through a long system.
Right.
You should be testing your smoke detectors every year. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says 2/3 of deaths caused by fires were in homes without smoke alarms, or the alarms had their batteries removed, or they just weren't working. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says there are over 300,000 residential fires every year. They suggest installing smoke alarms on every level of your home, inside and outside sleeping areas, and replace standard batteries every year. You should be replacing your smoke detectors once every 10 years, and you can get smoke detectors with a 10-year battery.
Right.
So once it starts chirping, letting you know the battery's dying, you can just replace the whole unit. If you're shopping for smoke alarms, there's ionization, and this is detecting a flaming fire. There's also photoelectric smoke alarms, and they detect a smoldering fire. You should have both types in your home, or get smoke detectors that have both technologies built into it. Interconnected smoke alarms are safer. When one sounds, it turns them all on. You should test your carbon monoxide detectors every year, make sure they're working. The National Safety Council says more than 400 people die every year. 4,000 people are hospitalized, and 20,000 people go to emergency rooms every year because of carbon monoxide. You should be installing a battery-operated or an electric with battery backup CO alarm outside of all your sleeping areas and on every level of your home, and replace your standard batteries every year. If you have a fireplace, make sure it's checked and cleaned every year, and make sure the fire is completely out before you close the damper. You never want to use a generator inside your home, basement, or an attached garage, and keep a generator at least 20 feet away from windows, doors, and vents, and never let your car run in an attached garage. If a CO alarm goes off in your home, make sure you get everybody out of the house, call 911, and don't allow anyone back into the house until it's inspected and they find out what the problem is.
Right.
If you have an attached garage, install a heat detector rather than a smoke detector, because a smoke detector can give a false alarm because of a buildup of fumes or dust. If you have a garage door opener, check the photo sensors, make sure they're working. If they aren't, you should replace them. Check the balance, too, of your garage door. You're going to pull the safety cord and then lift the door up halfway. It should stay in place. Test the reversal system of your garage door opener. You're going to open up the garage door and lay a 2x4 on the ground underneath the door. Hit your remote. As the door closes and touches that 2x4, it should reverse directions and open back up.
Right.
Check the manual for your model and what should be lubricated every year. If you have tension springs on your garage door, you're usually going to have 1 or 2. You may have more, but these need to be replaced every 5 to 8 years. When you do replace them, you should mark the date on the wall or your door. Tension springs are under high pressure, so replacing the springs is one project that should be done by a professional if you don't have the training. Many homeowners have lost fingers or had terrible injuries from the spring or the tool that you use to try to tighten the springs. And there's actually been a few deaths from people trying to change the springs too.
Okay.
Check your furnace filter if you have a forced air system, and have a professional check the heat exchanger for cracks routinely. A cracked heat exchanger can allow carbon monoxide into your home. Check your fire extinguishers that they're fully charged or they're not outdated, depending on the type you have. Ward had another suggestion. If you have a multi-level home and forced air, he recommends opening all of the vents in the lower level and closing the vents in the upper level and then adjusting them as needed. Your furnace is going to run less, saving you money. And by adjusting the vents, you can have more uniform heat throughout your house.
Interesting.
You can check out Ward and his daughter on HGTV's Bargain Mansions or follow him on Instagram. You can search for Ward Schrader. It's all one word, WARDSCHRAEDER.
Do you have anything else to add?
That's just a few things to think about every fall.
Seems like a lot of things.
Cindy's going to be putting together a checklist in one of our upcoming ebooks.
News to me.
So you got that to look forward to.
Let's wrap this up.
You can subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, CastBox, or your favorite podcast app.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review.
You can check out our home improvement videos on our YouTube channel, Fix It Home Improvement.
And you can subscribe to that as well.
You can download our ebooks, Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, books 1 through 12 on Amazon.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a 5-star rating and review.
You can email us at fixitpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow Cindy on Instagram at... No?
No, I'm not on Instagram.
Oh, you can follow Cindy on Twitter at FixItCohost. You can follow us on Instagram, Fixit Home Improvement.
Thank you for listening.
Talk to you next week.
Into